Have you ever wondered why some men, even without money, looks or status somehow make women absolutely obsessed with them? Why a woman can meet James, who checks every box on paper yet feel nothing, but meet Daniel, a man who seems ordinary, and suddenly she can't stop thinking about him. She's texting him, daydreaming about him, even losing sleep over him. It feels almost unfair, doesn't it? But here's the shocking truth most men never realize. Obsession isn't about luck, genetics, or having millionaire status. It's about psychology. The men women can't resist are not playing by society's rules. They're playing by the mind's rules. And today, I'm going to reveal 7 psychological tricks to make any woman obsessed with you. If you're ready to understand women on a level most men never do, stay with me till the very end. Because once you know this, the game of attraction will never be the same again. Trick 1: the power of scarcity. Nothing drives obsession more than scarcity. Think about it. Why is it that when tickets to a concert in London are sold out, suddenly everyone wants them more? Why does a limited edition sneaker drop in New York? Cause people to camp outside all night? It's simple. The human brain is hardwired to chase what feels rare. Now here's where most men get it wrong with women. They think the more they give, the more they'll be loved. They text constantly, shower her with attention, cancel their own plans just to see her. But what they don't realize is this. When you are always available, you become like wallpaper. You're just there, always in the background, always predictable. And women don't obsess over wallpaper. Women obsess over what feels scarce, unique, and valuable. Let me give you an example. James from Manchester was always the nice guy. He worked a stable job. He was polite. He texted back instantly whenever a girl messaged him. But guess what? Women never chased him. They appreciated his attention, but they never valued it. Now contrast that with Daniel from Sydney. He wasn't a millionaire. He wasn't the best-looking guy in the room. But he had one thing James didn't: self-respect. When Daniel was busy working on his goals, he didn't drop everything to reply instantly. If a woman asked to hang out,
he didn't always say yes. Sometimes he'd say,
"I've got training tonight, maybe this weekend." And women, they couldn't get enough of him. Why? Because his time was scarce. And scarcity breeds value. Psychologically, scarcity triggers a part of the brain linked to survival. It tells the mind, if this thing is rare, it must be valuable. If everyone else can't have it, I need it. This is why luxury brands thrive. It's why people chase things that are hard to get. And women, whether they admit it or not, are pulled by the same law. So when you make yourself too available, you rob yourself of power. But when you live with purpose, when you have priorities, when your world doesn't revolve around her, she starts to revolve around you. Here's the shocking truth. Women don't want a man who drops everything for them. They want a man whose time feels precious. Because if he values his time, they instinctively feel he'll value theirs too. So don't fake scarcity. Don't play hard to get like some silly game. That backfires because it feels manipulative. Instead, genuinely create a life worth living. Fill your schedule with fitness, career, hobbies, friends. When your time is naturally valuable, she'll feel it. And when she feels like she has to earn your time, that's when obsession begins. Trick 2: emotional roller coaster. Here's something women will never say out loud. They don't fall for men who are just nice all the time. Why? Because emotional predictability is boring. Attraction is not built on safety alone. It's built on excitement, unpredictability, and emotional variety. Let's take Olivia from Toronto. She dated Michael, a guy who always agreed with her, who constantly told her she was beautiful, who never challenged her. On paper, he seemed perfect, but within weeks, Olivia felt nothing. She wasn't excited to see him. She wasn't thinking about him at night. Why? Because she could predict every word, every move, every reaction. And predictability kills passion. Now let's look at her experience with James. James wasn't a pushover. He was kind, yes, but he also teased her. He challenged her ideas. He made her laugh. But he also had moments where he pulled back and left her wondering. And what happened? Olivia couldn't get him out of her head. She'd wake up checking her phone for his message. She'd replay their conversations in her mind. Why? Because her emotions were going up and down like a roller coaster. And here's the secret. The human brain gets addicted to emotional variety. This is why people gamble in Las Vegas. They don't know if they'll win or lose, but the uncertainty itself becomes addictive. It's why people binge watch thrillers in London or Manchester. The suspense keeps them hooked. Women too. get hooked on the suspense of not knowing exactly what a man will do next. But here's where men misunderstand. Being an emotional roller coaster doesn't mean being toxic, manipulative, or cruel. It means being dynamic. Show her different sides of you. Be playful one moment, serious the next. Laugh with her, then challenge her with a bold opinion. Be warm, but also confident enough to pull back when needed. When a woman feels that her time with you is never dull, that every interaction has surprise, tension, and joy, she doesn't just like you. She craves you. Think about it this way. Women aren't addicted to nice, and they're addicted to feeling. And when you're the man who can make her feel a wide spectrum of emotions, joy, excitement, curiosity, even frustration, you become unforgettable. Olivia eventually left Michael, the safe guy, and kept chasing James. Not because James was better on paper, but because with him she felt alive. And that's what women truly want. Not a predictable caretaker, but a man who lights up their emotions like fireworks. So remember this rule. Don't aim to be the man who makes her comfortable. Aim to be the man who makes her feel. Trick 3. The subtle power of silence. Most men believe that to impress a woman they need to talk more, explain more, show off more. But here's the paradox. Silence, when used correctly, is more magnetic than any smooth line or clever joke. Think about Sarah from New York. She goes on a date with Michael. He's nervous, so he fills every second with chatter. He tells her about his job, his car, his vacation plans, even his workout routine. He's trying hard to prove his worth. And what does Sarah feel? Overwhelmed. There's no space for her to wonder about him. No mystery left to unfold. Now contrast this with Daniel from London. Daniel isn't afraid of silence. When Sarah asks him a question, he takes a breath, thinks for a moment, and answers calmly. Sometimes he simply smiles without saying anything. He doesn't rush. He doesn't flood the air with words. And what happens? Sarah starts to lean in. She feels the weight of his presence. She starts wondering, what's going through his mind? Why isn't he trying so hard? This is the power of silence. Psychologically, silence creates tension. And tension, when paired with attraction, is addictive. It's the same reason people can't stop watching suspenseful shows. They're hooked by the pauses, the unanswered questions. Silence makes people anticipate. In fact, studies in communication show that people who pause before answering are perceived as more confident. They appear thoughtful, composed, in control. And women instinctively notice this. When you're comfortable with silence, you show that you're not desperate to fill the gap. You're not afraid of her judgment. You're centered. Let's take Olivia from Toronto again. She once told her friend, "The guy I can't stop thinking about is the one who doesn't give me everything at once. He makes me wonder. He makes me imagine." That's the secret. Silence fuels imagination, and the imagination is far more powerful than anything you could say. Here's a simple example. You're on a date. Instead of saying, "I really like you," within the first hour, you smile, hold eye contact, and stay silent for a second longer than she expects. That pause says more than words ever could. It leaves her mind racing. Silence also works in texting. If she sends you a message, don't always reply instantly. Let a little time pass. Not to play games, but to show that you have a life, that your attention isn't on her. Or 7 that slight delay builds curiosity. Remember this, in music, it's not just the notes that make a song beautiful, it's the spaces between them. In attraction, it's not just what you say, it's the space you leave. Women are naturally curious. Give them silence and they'll fill it with imagination. Give them space and they'll chase to close the gap. The subtle use of silence makes you appear mysterious, composed and in control, and that combination is magnetic. Trick 4. The law of emotional imprint. Here's a truth most men never fully understand. Women don't fall in love with you. They fall in love with how they feel when they're with you. Take Emily from Manchester. She dated 2 men, James and Daniel. James did everything right. He took her to expensive restaurants, dressed sharp and always said polite, perfect things. Daniel, on the other hand, wasn't perfect at all. He joked too much sometimes. He challenged her opinions. He could be stubborn. But here's the difference. When Emily was with Daniel, she felt alive. She laughed until her stomach hurt. She felt butterflies when he looked at her a certain way. She felt annoyed sometimes when he teased her, but then thrilled when he pulled her close again. Daniel left emotional fingerprints on her heart. Months later, When Emily thought about those two men, she didn't remember the fancy steak dinners James bought her. She remembered the way Daniel made her laugh in the rain, the way he playfully argued with her about silly things, the way he made her feel like the center of the universe one moment and challenged her the next. This is the law of emotional imprint. People don't remember details. They remember emotions. Psychologists have proven that memory is tied to emotional intensity. The stronger the emotion, the stronger the memory. This is why people never forget their first heartbreak, their first kiss, or the most thrilling night of their lives. The emotion imprints itself into the brain. So if you want a woman to be obsessed with you, stop trying to impress her with logic, facts, or money. Instead, focus on how you make her feel. Let's say you're with Sarah from Los Angeles. Instead of bragging about your car, take her somewhere fun and unexpected. Make her laugh. Tease her playfully. Share a personal story that makes her feel connected. When she goes home that night, she won't think, "He has a nice car." She'll think, "Wow, I felt so alive with him." The key is variety. Don't just give her the same emotion every time. If you only make her feel safe, she'll see you as a friend. If you only make her feel excited, she'll think you're fun but not serious. The secret is to leave a mix of emotions: joy, laughter, surprise, comfort, curiosity. This combination makes her emotionally addicted to you. Emily told her best friend once, "I can't explain it. Daniel just makes me feel more." That's what obsession really is, when someone feels more with you than with anyone else. So remember, women don't obsess over the things you buy, the places you take them, or the compliments you give. They obsess over how they feel when you're around. Your job is to leave an emotional imprint so deep that even when you're gone, she replays the emotions in her mind again and again. Trick 5, the power of walking away. One of the most magnetic things a man can ever do is show that he is willing to walk away. To most men, this sounds insane. They think, if I walk away, she'll leave me. But the reality is the opposite. Walking away often makes her chase harder. Why? Because humans only value what they fear losing. Women especially know that most men are desperate. They know most men will do anything to keep them, even if it means sacrificing self-respect. But when you're the man who refuses to tolerate disrespect, who refuses to cling, who calmly walks away when you're not valued, you instantly separate yourself from every other man. Let's take Olivia from London. She was dating Michael, a man who adored her. The problem? She constantly tested him. She'd cancel plans last minute, reply to his texts hours later, and sometimes ignore him altogether. And every time, Michael begged for her attention. He tried harder, sent flowers, wrote long paragraphs about how much he cared. But the more he clung, the less she respected him. Now compare that with Daniel from Los Angeles. Olivia tried the same games with him. She canceled the date last minute, expecting him to plead or chase. Instead, Daniel calmly said, "No worries, but my time is valuable. If you're not serious, I'll move on." And then he did exactly that. He pulled back, stopped texting, and focused on his own life. What happened next shocked Olivia. Instead of forgetting about him, she couldn't stop thinking about him. Within days, she was reaching out, apologizing, trying to win back his attention. Why? Because she realized she could lose him, and that fear of loss is one of the strongest triggers of obsession. The psychology is simple. When something is always guaranteed, it loses value. But when it can be lost, it becomes precious. Women admire strength. They admire men who have standards, men who are not afraid to say, "This isn't good enough." Walking away doesn't mean being cold or cruel. It doesn't mean punishing her. It means respecting yourself so much that you will not settle for less than what you deserve. It means showing her that your happiness doesn't depend on her approval. The irony is this: the moment you show you don't need her, that's when she feels she needs you the most. So remember, don't fear walking away. Fear wasting your time with someone who doesn't value it. Because once a woman sees that you won't tolerate less than respect, she will chase you harder than she's ever chased anyone else. Trick 6, the Stoic frame. Now let's talk about something deeper, the Stoic frame. This is one of the most powerful secrets of attraction. Your frame is the invisible energy you carry, the mindset that shapes how you react to the world. And nothing is more attractive to a woman than a man who cannot be shaken out of his frame. Imagine Sarah from Manchester. She goes on 2 different dates. The first guy, James, loses his temper when the waiter brings the wrong order. He complains, raises his voice, and acts frustrated. Sarah instantly feels uncomfortable. She sees a man who lacks control, a man who can be rattled by small things. The second guy, Daniel, faces the same situation. The waiter messes up his meal. But Daniel? He smiles, shrugs, and calmly asks for it to be fixed. He doesn't let the moment affect his mood. He keeps enjoying the evening, fully present with Sarah. And Sarah? She feels safe. She feels drawn to him. She feels like she's in the presence of a man who owns himself. That's the power of the Stoic frame. Women test men all the time, often without realizing it. They'll tease you, disagree with you, or give you attitude. Not because they hate you, but because they want to see if you'll break. If you lose your cool, if you become needy or defensive, you fail the test. But if you stay calm, unbothered, and centered, you pass with flying colors. Why? Because women don't just want attraction, they want to feel protected. They want to feel like you are a rock in the middle of the storm. When you're stoic, you give them that feeling. This doesn't mean being emotionless. It means not letting external chaos control your internal state. It means showing that no matter what happens, you stay grounded. Daniel once told his friend, "A woman's storm doesn't shake me. If she's emotional, I stay calm. If she pushes, I stand firm. That's my power." And that's why women couldn't resist him. The Stoic frame is rare. Most men crack under pressure. But man who can stay centered, he becomes unforgettable. Trick 7, the subconscious mirror. The final psychological trick is subtle but unbelievably powerful. Mirroring. Humans are wired to connect with those who reflect them. It's built deep into our psychology. When someone mirrors your behavior, your tone, your emotions, your energy, something in your subconscious recognizes it as familiarity. You feel closer to them without even knowing why. You feel understood. And for women, that feeling of being truly understood is not just attractive, it's addictive. It is one of the deepest pathways to obsession. Take Emily from New York, for example. She was seeing two men at the same time. James looked perfect on paper, wealthy, charming, well-dressed, articulate. But despite all his qualities, Emily felt a gap. He never quite matched her energy. When she was excited and playful, he stayed stiff and composed. When she shared her dreams, he dismissed them with logic. Instead of matching her emotional openness, she felt like she was talking to a wall. Then there was Daniel. He wasn't flashy, he wasn't trying to impress, but he had something James didn't. Daniel tuned into her wavelength. When she leaned in, he leaned in too. When she laughed, he joined her laughter naturally. When she spoke passionately about her goal, she didn't just nod. He reflected back her excitement, validating her feelings. Without realizing it, Emily started to feel like Daniel was inside her world. He got her. He understood her. He wasn't just listening. He was living the moment with her. That's what mirroring does. It creates subconscious alignment. It tells her without words, this man is like me. He understands me. He feels me. And once a woman senses that, it becomes nearly impossible for her to walk away. Because the bond doesn't just exist in her mind, it's anchored in her emotions. But here's the key. Mirroring must be subtle. If you copy her too literally, she'll sense it and it will come across as fake or manipulative. The power of mirroring lies in syncing naturally with her. If she's speaking quickly with excitement, you raise your energy to meet hers. If she slows down and becomes thoughtful, you mirror that calmness. If she shares something vulnerable, you don't dismiss it, you respond with genuine empathy. It's about reflecting, not imitating. Women crave emotional connection above everything else. Physical attraction may catch their eye, but emotional alignment captures their heart. And when you mirror correctly, you bypass her logical thinking and speak directly to her subconscious. That's where true attraction and even obsession is born. Olivia from Toronto once put it perfectly. The man I fell for wasn't the one who looked the best, it was the one who made me feel like he truly understood me. That's the subconscious mirror in action. It's not about having the best looks, the most money, or the flashiest personality. It's about reflecting her inner world back to her in a way that makes her feel deeply seen, heard, and valued. So remember this, women don't obsess over the man who tries the hardest to show off. They obsess over the man who reflects their essence back to them. The man who makes them feel like they are not alone in their experiences. That's the real secret behind mirroring. When she feels like you are aligned with her soul, she won't just want you, she won't be able to stop thinking about you. Conclusion. So let's recap quickly. 1. Scarcity makes her chase you. 2. Emotional roller coasters keep her addicted. 4. Silence creates mystery. 4. Emotional imprints make her remember you. 5. Walking away increases your value. 6. Stoic frame makes her feel safe and drawn to you. 7. Mirroring builds subconscious connection. These aren't just tricks. They're deep psychological principles. If you master them, you'll stop being the man women forget and start being the man they can't stop thinking about. But here's the ultimate reminder. Use these responsibly. These tools are powerful. They can make women obsessed, but obsession should never be about control or manipulation. It should be about creating genuine, passionate, magnetic connections. And remember, the most attractive man is not the one who tries to impress women. It's the man who lives fully, builds his purpose, values his time, and radiates strength from within. Women don't just fall in love with that man, they become addicted to him. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.